Chinese are not releasing information on age, class, gender, that sort of thing. Usually what happens is that recovery is harder among poorer people, and it would be surprising if that weren't true also in China. The initial report said that rich and poor suffered alike, and that may be true, but the ability of the rich to recover is much higher than the ability of the poor to recover.
I have been in a big house built of concrete, and as soon as I heard a noisy things happened, and I felt that this was a helicopter, and I said, wow, that's an helicopter? And he passed so near and noisy, and as soon as I closed my mouth, and I felt that the house jumped, and I was afraid, and I heard a wall, and I stood inside the house, and I called Jesus, and suddenly the earthquake stopped, and the house stood, and I got out, and to see, because my house is made of sheet metal, and I ran to see how my house was, and I saw that my house was not fallen, only it quakes inside. I live inside my house, but very scared, very afraid, especially at night.
Oh man, how do you build a hospital that just falls in like that? What did they do with the people on the inside?
Not sure. We're not getting very many reports on just what are casualties. My question was, has all the buildings been searched? And
this was a hospital.
Kind of got a loose yes.
How can we mitigate for earthquakes then?
You can, as I said earlier, change the places where people live so they're not living in the places of greatest risk. And you can do a minimum level of fortification of buildings, and particularly you fortify buildings that are known to contain a lot of people. So schools, you put a lot of effort into making a school resistant. You put a lot of effort into making hospitals resistant. Certain key institutions that are important for, say, disaster recovery. You want your police station to be in good shape. You want your fire emergency people to be in a place that's not going to fall down. So you preferentially choose those most important buildings to fortify. It's difficult. One thing you can do, and this has been talked about a fair bit, we generally know now where the places are that are most hazardous, where they're most likely to have earthquakes or flooding, and you can, through public planning, make sure that you don't build in places that are very, very vulnerable. It's one thing you can do. Don't build in very low-lying areas. Port-au-Prince itself is in a very, very dangerous place with respect to earthquake risk. So just in the location you can do something. Governments can ensure that a minimum standard of safety is adhered to when buildings are built. It's not impossible. The real problem in Haiti is the lack of government infrastructure. It would be wonderful if there really were very good building codes. How do you enforce them? How do you go around and just inspect? How do you make sure that things happen? You can build a house that will withstand the sort of earthquake that Haiti got. A lot of things will fall down, but the amount of destruction was most unusual compared to the size of the earthquake. And you can do minimum things, but you do need a strong government infrastructure to do that. So building the capacity for good institutions of governance is the first thing they have to do.
How do you backtrack then? Obviously, at this point, places like China, Pakistan, and Haiti, they're trying to just clear out. So how do you backtrack and create that type of mitigation at this point?
Yeah, well, it's usually a good time because people are very sensitive, having just experienced a calamity, so they won't rebuild the same way. They can be relatively easily persuaded that they have to do something different, because typically, you know, you look at photographs, go to a disaster scene, you'll see some buildings completely destroyed, and right next to it, one that stood up. Now, it's not the seismic energy that does that, it's the building. So anybody who's experienced something like that can see that it is possible to build a building that will survive. So your impulse is to say, I want one like that, not one like that. And it can be done.